So what's good, everybody? How's everybody doing today? This is Crazy Jay, and I hope everybody's having a great day. I am. I'm finally off from work. I've been working a lot. I took a little vacation, but I guess you can call it vacation or whatever it was. It was a couple days off, and I need a little break. I just want to welcome everybody to Crazy Jay's world. So far, I want to just give a shout out to everybody who's been very supportive of me doing this. And basically, everyone who's subscribed to me on YouTube so far, I just want to say thank you. And I feel very blessed, that I got sober and I'm where I am. And I could be sitting here doing this. And people actually are asking me, like, when's your next podcast going to come out? I didn't think it was going to be like this. I thought people were going to be like, you're stupid. Why are you even doing that? You're being dumb. And it's not about me doing this that I want to do this. I want to do this. I absolutely want to do it. But I feel like I'm meant to do this. Like, there's a reason for me to do this. It's not just about me saying, oh, let me just go make a podcast because I want people to hear what I have to say. I feel like I have a lot to say. And there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about eventually on this podcast, But like I said, recovery is the biggest reason I'm doing it. Because without my recovery, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't even be here, I don't think. I'd probably be dead. I'm going to say that right now. I'd probably be dead. I'm not. And I've had a lot of chances, and I'm not blowing this one. I just got 9 years and 5 months sober, and I want to keep staying sober, So, yeah, I like the little sound effects I can do. I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, so I wanted to make a 4-part podcast. I'm going to try to do this once a week. So today's episode is going to be about my childhood. I'm going to do today about my childhood. The next one's going to be about my adolescent years, from probably like my adolescence to my teenage years. It's going to be all about that. And then I'm going to do my adult life, my marriage, when I started really getting into drugs really bad. And then when I got sober and how my recovery's been so far. So I want to share that with everybody because I feel like, sort of doing this is like being in a meeting in a way. And, like I've told my life story. I actually, when I had a year sober, I was doing meetings on In the Rooms, it's called. It's a great website. If you're ever looking for an online, AA, NA, they have everything on there. CA. Marijuana, anything. It's called intherooms.com, and it's fantastic. You create a username. You don't have to go on camera. You could just listen. You can share with your camera off. So when I had a year sober, they asked me to share my story, and I didn't do that great, I feel like, because I was only a year sober. I was still new in recovery, and I was very nervous. And I think there was over 3,300 something people watching me talk. Now, this is like all over the world. So like people in Europe could be watching me, Africa, Germany, Australia, like there was people in other countries watching me. So I'm sitting here on my computer sharing my story, and I have people all over the world watching me. And it was awesome. Like, I don't know. I loved everything about it. And the lady who hosted the meeting told me I did really good. And I didn't feel like I did. Maybe now, if I did it now that it's been years later, I'd probably be better at it. But at the time, I wanted to do it because I want to give back. I got sober to give back. Like, if you don't give back in sobriety, you don't keep sobriety. Like, you have to talk about being sober. Like, you have to give it away to keep it because it's like when you're using and you bottle everything up, we use more to cover the pain that we're going through because we're bottled all that stuff up inside, and if you bottle up recovery, you're going to eventually explode. Like, what's going to happen? You have to give this away, man. Like, that's the beauty of sobriety, like giving away what you've done with it. I love telling people about my story. I love telling people about recovery. I love talking about recovery. Like, I love recovery. I love it so much, man. And I will never, as long as I stay sober, I have my recovery. And I love my recovery. I love being a recovering alcoholic addict. I'm proud of that. And if people want to look down on me because of who I am, then that's their problem. That's not my problem. My problem is I know what I got to do, and I'm doing it. I'm more happy today. I was miserable for a long time. I didn't know how to feel. My feelings I bottled up in drugs and alcohol, like that was the way to escape for me was, I had problems in my marriage, and it was like really a lot of problems. And my whole answer was to go get high or drunk, or cheating was not, I don't cheat. So I didn't do that. I guess I cheated on my ex-wife with drugs and alcohol. I guess that's a cheating. I guess you could say that's what it is. But so let's get to know the younger Crazy Jay or Chris. So I was born in Long Branch, New Jersey on February 19th, 1982. So I am 44 years old. I was born to my mother, Corey or Corinne, and at the time it was Johnson because she was married to my real father. And Thomas Walter Johnson is my father. I don't really know my real father. I've only met him twice, maybe 3 times. Him and my mom, I'm pretty sure I got divorced when I was 2. I don't hate him. I love him. I love him for making me, and I tried to, have a relationship with him, and we still could if he ever wants to. All he has to do is reach out. I'll leave it up to him. I got too much going on to be angry. But like I said, I don't hate him. I love him, for what he is. And if he ever watches this, Dad, I forgive you. I'm not mad at you for not being there. I get it. It happens. So, but I didn't let it define who I was. So yeah, that's when I was born. So when I was little, I lived in, I believe, Union Beach for a little bit. My mom had a boyfriend that I'm not going to talk about that much because I don't like him. Things happen that I rather not talk about, maybe eventually, but at the time right now, I don't want to. So we're going to pass that. So when I was about 3, I think my mother met my stepfather. And my stepfather was great to me, when I was younger. He was actually a dad. Like I give him a lot of credit for, getting with my mom who has a kid who isn't his, and him taking on that responsibility of, not just being with my mom, but having me too, like I wasn't his kid, so he took on a big responsibility of accepting me with my mother. Not just saying, oh, I just want the mom, because there's guys that do that, just want the female, and they're like, well, they got kids. I don't want the kids. Like, that's not how it works. If you're going to get with a parent that's got a kid, you got to accept that kid, and it's part of the package. Like, it's not just bang, and that's it. Like, if I get with a girl right now who has a kid, that's part of her. Like, I have to accept that, or then I should not be with her. So I give him a lot of credit for that. That was the good parts. I mean, my relationship with my stepfather got bad as I got older. You'll eventually find out about that, but that's for another day. So basically, my mom and my stepfather started dating, and we moved from Union Beach to Keyport. And then when I was about 5 or 5.5, my mom and my stepfather, I think they got married. I don't know if they got married before my brother was born, but then my brother was born, Michael. I love my brother to death. I love both my brothers to death. If they don't know that, well, Michael and Sean, I love you guys to death. I always have. I always will. I know me and my brother, Michael, have had a little tiffs here and there, but we're brothers. It happens. Brothers fight. Me and Sean too. But I remember when my brother was born, I was so excited. Like I had a brother. It was so awesome. And me and my brother were very close growing up. Like my brother was like my best friend, man. Like me and him never fought. I always wanted to hang out with my brother, like I just got a really great long relationship with my brother, me and him got along really good. I never looked at him as my half brother, either of them, they were my half brothers, but to me, they're not. They're my brothers. Like I don't understand this half brother, half sister thing. Just because they're not with the same parent doesn't mean nothing. They're still your brother, your sister at the end of the day, regardless of it's with another parent or not. So I don't know why people say that half brother, half sister thing. I don't agree with it. That's your brother, your sister, treat them like that. So my brother was born. And, growing up, my brother was great. Like I had my brother to bounce off of. So, my childhood wasn't really all like that bad. When my father did tile, he was in the union, and when he worked, he made good money, and we lived pretty good. But then there was times when he would get laid off, and then he'd collect unemployment, and things would get hard. Like, we'd be in poverty. Like I wasn't rich growing up. No, I'm not rich now. I don't know what it's like to be rich. I don't know if I want to be rich. I'd like to be comfortable, but being rich, I don't know. I don't know if would that change me? I heard, when you come into money, it changes you. I don't want to be changed. I'm changed already in the right way. I don't want to, but I don't want to keep living like I am. So, when my stepfather worked, he worked a lot. We had good Christmases. Like, I had good birthdays. Like I had things growing up. It wasn't just, I didn't have, So like my childhood wasn't bad. My relationship with my mother was good when I was younger. And as I got older, that got weird too. Like I don't have the best, greatest relationship with my mother to this day now. I don't say my mother was mad about, like having me and then my real father not being around. I'm not saying that. But, I feel that she could have been a better mother than she was to me, and certain things that happened to me when I was growing up, like she was there. I give her credit. My mom, I love my mom to death. Like I love her, she's my mother, and I wouldn't want anybody else to be my mom. That I love the person who is my mom. And her brother, my Uncle Bobby, I love him too, and he's going through some things, but, he was great to me too, my grandmother, I almost consider my mother, because my grandmother was a really big part of my childhood, and she's a part of my life now. I don't see her anymore as it is either, because my mom and my grandmother are upstate New York. But my grandma actually just came down. I got to see her. It was good. She wasn't here that long, but you know what? She got to see my kids, and I got to see her, and it was weird her coming here to my house, because since I moved back to Jersey, I haven't seen her. I've talked to her on the phone. I've done some videos and stuff. Like, I actually haven't seen her, so it was weird her coming to my house, So, but yeah, that's why I feel like this episode is going to be a little hard, because my childhood wasn't really like that bad. My life got worse when I started being a teenager. But I want to do this in parts because I want you to see, things about me. So like the Christmases were good. Like I said, we weren't rich. So I lived in Keyport. And then when I turned, I think 6 or 7, I moved to Hazlitt. Now that's when things got interesting. I met my best friend, Dan. He's no longer here. He passed away. I don't know exactly when. He was my best friend. And if I didn't move to Hazlitt, I would never met him. But yeah, I moved to Hazlitt. I went to Raritan Valley, I think, when I started there. And then I went to Sycamore Drive. And then I went to Beer Street for 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And I had a blast in school, man. I made a lot of friends. I didn't play sports, but I played sports. I played football with my friends, hockey, baseball. Like, we played a lot of sports. I was big into sports when I was younger. I just never got to actually play sports, which I don't know why. My stepfather is a big sports fanatic. Like, my brother, Michael, is just like my stepfather. Like, a big, big sports fanatic. Like, I like sports, but they're way over the top with sports. Like, they're more into sports than I am. I'm not into sports like that. Like, I love sports. Like, football is my favorite sport, and the Raiders are my favorite sports team out of any team. Like, I just want to see them win the Super Bowl. Like, I would give the Bulls championships away, the Rangers 1994 Stanley Cup that I seen, for the Raiders to win the Super Bowl. Like, I want them to win the Super Bowl so bad, and I'm hoping that's going to happen. But we're not going to talk about that because this isn't about sports. But so I played a lot of I was actually good at sports. Like, I was really, really, really fast when I was young. So when I was in 8th grade, we had to run the mile. I don't know if how they do school now, but when I went to school, we had to do, it was like the fitness thing they had. So you had to do the mile twice a year. You do it in the fall and you do it in the spring, and then there was other stuff, and you had to do all the stuff to pass to get this fitness card thing or whatever. It was different back then. Just like when I was younger, we had a pen license. You couldn't get a pen in school until you learned how to use a pen right, and then they would give you a paper with a license. It was a pen license. Yeah, I bet you they don't do that now. There's no pen licenses. So I remember I ran the mile under 5 minutes. I ran it 4 minutes and 53 seconds. I ran it so fast, like my gym teacher couldn't believe how quick I ran it. Like, I was that fast. My one friend, Steve, he used to call me Speedy. He'd be like, Speedy, because I was so fast. Like, I'm still quick for my age. Like, I could still probably run. I was just fast, and I could move. Like, I was so good at football. I'm not a big guy. Obviously, I'm not tall. I'm only 5'4". I'm 130 pounds. But I had moves, man. I never dropped the football. I could throw a football before. I was good at football. I was also good at hockey. I was very good at defense. We used to play a lot of rollerblade hockey in the tennis courts by Beer Street Middle School. So I did a lot of that. Baseball, we would tape the wiffle ball bats up. This was fun. So when we were younger, we used to tape the wiffle ball bats up with electric tape and use tennis balls. Because when you tape the wiffle ball bat with the electric tape, it makes the ball bounce. So you can actually use it so you don't bend the wiffle ball bat. Because, if you use a tennis ball and a wiffle ball bat, eventually it's going to bend. It's going to mess up the bat. So if you tape it, you put a nice amount of electric tape, like on the end of the bat, the part where you would hit the ball, you can use it for all. So we would go, I used to hit the tennis ball so far. I feel like I had a great childhood, I started smoking weed when I was 12. So that can be part of this, because I'm not in my teenager. I'm almost a teenager. 11 or 12. I remember it was during the summer and we were at Veterans Park, and I didn't really identify as anything yet. I was starting to become like a skater, I guess, punk rock guy. Because I like that type of music. I started kind of dressing like that. I started finally getting my style as like a skater, punk rocker. And we were at Veterans Park, and I remember my friend John, we were up by the tables or something. We were hanging out, and he comes and he's like, yo, I got this joint. You guys want to smoke? Like, me and my friend Dan. And me and my friend Dan never smoked weed. So I was like, Dan, you want to go do it? I was curious to know what it was like. Obviously, curiosity. So Dan, me and Dan were like, yeah. And so we went up in the woods, and me, my friend Dan, John, a couple other people, and we smoked this joint. And then I remember, 10 minutes later, my friend Dan's dad came and picked us up, and I remember we're sitting in the van, and we're just quiet. But I don't remember if I got high. I don't know. To this day, I don't remember if I was ever high. I just know I was something, because it was weird I'll never forget that. I remember sitting in that van, in my friend Dan's dad's van right now, that day after smoking my first ever joint. That was, I didn't drink like when I had like sips of beer here and there from my mom. You know, when I was like 7, my mom, I'd be like, Mom, can I have a sip? You know, like kids like up to their parent when they're drinking, like, can I have a sip of that? And they're like, yeah, here, just one. So my mom's done that, you know, but that was really it. Like cigarettes. God. So my mom smoked cigarettes. She quit a couple years ago. I'm proud of her. Thank you, Mom, for quitting. I quit too. I vape now, but I did quit smoking over 2 years ago. So I started smoking cigarettes when I was 11, actually. Yeah, that was 11. That was before I ever smoked weed. I remember I would just smoke a cigarette here and there, and then I started like stealing a cigarette here and there from my mother. And then me and my friend Dan started getting money up to go. We would go stand out in front of Wawa, actually, in Hazlitt by where the Quick Check is and the Taco Bell when they built it. I remember when they built the Wawa. It's closed now. It's like a walk-in clinic. Anyway, so I remember we would go. We have his dad drop us off, and we would, and if we didn't have money, this was great too, because they had payphones back in the day. Now, a lot of you young kids today don't know what a payphone is. A payphone is a thing that you picked up and you called, and you had to put money in it, or you could do 1-800-COLLECT. There was ways to get around, you know, talking real quick and everything. But yeah, we had these. So there was 2 payphones up there. So this is what we did if we didn't have money. So we'd get dropped off. We would tell his dad we're going to Taco Bell. We'd drop us off Taco Bell. We're going to hang out, whatever. So we go stand in front of Wawa, and we would ask people for change to make a phone call. Because if we didn't have money to get cigarettes, we had to figure it out. So people would give us dollars. Some people would give us $5. Like it was so different then. Like we just like quarters, you know. And then when we got the money for cigarettes, we'd have to wait and ask somebody to, hey, can you get us a pack of cigarettes or a couple packs of cigarettes? And people would do it. Like it was different then. It wasn't like today. Like people would be like, yeah, I'll go get you cigarettes. And they go and buy us a pack of cigarettes, get it, and then we call his dad and we leave. So we were getting cigarettes very easy. It wasn't hard. Alcohol, I drank probably when I was 11 or 12, we did. Because there was, we would go up to the Hazlitt train station, and there was these bums, these 2 guys that lived in the woods, you know, and they were alcoholics. So if we ever like wanted to get alcohol, which I didn't drink a lot when I was younger, but there was times when I was 11 and 12 we did. So we'd go up to the Hazlitt train station, and the guy would be somewhere up there. We'd find him, and we'd give him our money. And we'd tell him what we wanted, and he'd go, and we'd like make sure it was like $20 in there for him. He never ripped us off. He always came back with alcohol. Because I remember the first time I actually got drunk was off Crazy Horse. It was a 40. I loved the Crazy Horse. It tasted like an iced tea, but it was malt liquor. It was strong. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Crazy Horse. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but that's what I liked. And I remember the first time I got drunk, I got 2 of them. Man, I drank, I think, one. I know I drank 1. I don't remember if I got to the second one, but I got sick. Like, yeah, I remember the Crazy Horse 40s. Yeah, those were fun. But yeah, a lot of my childhood wasn't like partying like that. You know, like a lot of I remember me and my friend Mike, he's over my house in Hazlitt, and we got this idea to smoke oregano. So we're in my room, and it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, I remember. And I think I was 10. I think I was about 10. I didn't start smoking cigarettes yet. And yeah, I don't know. I go in the kitchen, I grab oregano, and we roll it up, and we smoke it, and it's disgusting, so we throw it out. And then my stepfather comes in my room, and he smells it, so he thinks it's cigarettes, but it wasn't. It was oregano. And I tried telling him that, and he wouldn't listen to me. So he sent Mike home, and then I remember he went to the store and bought a pack of Camel's non-filtered cigarettes and made me smoke like 4 or 5 in a row, and I had to take deep drags, so I went smoking. Boy, did I get sick. He's like, yeah, we're going to smoke cigarettes? And I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. Yeah, okay, that's why I started smoking cigarettes. I don't feel like that's how you punish your kid, you know, like all right, you're smoking, so I'm going to make you smoke more so you stop smoking. No, that's not going to make, just because I got sick doesn't mean I'm going to keep, you know how many people get sick from drinking? They're like, oh, I'm never doing this again. And then a couple days later, you're getting drunk again. It's because at the moment you're just like, oh, I don't like this, but it doesn't mean it's going to define you and make you not do it. You know, so I didn't learn from that. He was going to get a cigar, but they didn't have any cigars at the store. So he decided to get, you know, a pack of Campbell's non-filtered cigarettes. I mean, that was the start of, you know, when like my dad started, I guess, changing with me. Because my stepfather was good with me until my brother Michael was about 5. When my brother Michael turned 5, I was 10. I started noticing my stepfather was starting to act a little different towards me because, you know, he had his real son. I guess he started looking at it like, you know, Michael's my real son. Christopher's not. I don't know. I'm guessing he started thinking like this. And Michael started being more like what my stepfather wanted in his son and I wasn't. I was more being a rebellion at 10 years old. I was more into music. I wasn't into sports like my stepfather was. I wasn't because I wasn't my stepfather's son, so I didn't have his tendencies, so I didn't have the things that my brother has. Like my brother, if you look at my brother Michael, he looks just like my stepfather with the beard, everything. Like he's taller than me, like he's bigger than me. He is my stepfather. Like you can tell that's his son. My brother Sean's a little different. He looks, I guess, more like my mom. I look a lot like my mom. So, I've seen pictures of my dad and I have, stuff from my dad too. I see that, but I look a lot like my mom. But I just noticed that when my brother turned about 5, my stepfather, his attitude towards me started changing a little bit, and then when I turned a teenager, you hear about that in my next podcast. We got fights, fist fights. I almost stabbed him to death. Like, it got bad. Our relationship got bad, and it stayed bad till now. Like, if I go see him now, he would probably say something I wouldn't like. That's how he is with me. He doesn't know how to be a dad to me. I guess he never did. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person. I had a lot of resentments towards him growing up. He made my life, not the best life. Like, instead of being there for me who didn't have my real dad and being a dad, he chose to be a scumbag in a way and hurt me. And I had to deal with that. Like, I don't know how he grew up, but that's not how you make me grow up, because you put a mental, hurt on me. You know what I mean? Like, you mentally hurt me. It wasn't even the physical parts, because there was a lot of physical hurt. The mentalness, of this guy that I met when I was a little kid who became my father, and then eventually treat me like I'm a piece of crap. Like, what is it? I would never do that. Like, I've dated a couple girls since my marriage ended. And this one girl, when I first got sober, Ashley, she had a 5-year-old, I think he was. And I treat him like he was my own kid, because that's how maybe I'm just different. I don't know. So if I do meet a girl eventually and she has any kids, I'm going to treat with respect. Like, I'm not going to be a scumbag like that. So maybe that started my addiction. I'm sure it probably put something on it, because I started smoking cigarettes when I was 11. I started smoking weed when I was 11. Like, I remember that story with the joint, and then me and Dan liked weed. So we started smoking. Like, I started smoking weed. I didn't drink that much when I was younger. It was more weed. We liked smoking weed. I didn't really like drinking when I was growing up. I didn't like the way it made my stomach feel. I didn't like the way it made me feel. I don't know. Alcohol. I liked alcohol when I got older. I didn't like alcohol as much when I was younger. I liked weed. And then one day I couldn't smoke weed anymore. But that's for my next story, because that was when I was older. You'll learn about the panic attacks I started having because I started messing around with ecstasy and stuff like that. That's for my teen years, but that's for the next one. This was just about when I was a child. So, yeah, so also when I was younger, I used to sleep over at my grandma's lot. So when we lived in Keyport, we lived in these apartments where my uncle lived in the first one originally, and then my great-grandparents lived in the second one. So they were it was 1, 2, 3. They weren't huge apartments. It was in Keyport. It was on Beer Street, actually. I moved to Beer Street in Hazlitt. That's funny. But so when my Uncle Bobby in the first one, and then my grandparents in the second one, and then my grandma in the third one. And then my Uncle Bobby wound up moving. I forget where he moved, somewhere. He got his apartment somewhere else. So we actually wound up moving in the first apartment. Me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. Actually, my mom had my brother when we moved there. So my brother was born and he lived there. But I used to sleep with my grandma. Like, I was very, very, very close to my grandma. Like, that's why I say my grandma was almost like my mom. I love my grandma, she helped me as a kid, She doesn't really get along with my stepfather too much, and she didn't appreciate the things he did to me. There's things I don't remember happening that she told me happened. I was little, so I was like, oh, a couple things, and I was like, oh, that says a lot. I don't remember it. Like the one day I was little and he locked me out of the house and I was banging on the door and I'm like, I think I was 5 or 6 because I went to my grandma's and then I had to go back to my grandma's and I told her the doors I couldn't get in the house, and she was not very happy. Like, he's locking me out. I'm a little kid. You're locking me out of my house. Like, I don't remember that, but yeah, she told me that happened. Like, he wouldn't let me in the house, locked me out. And I'm 6 years old. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he wasn't the best of fathers. And I give him credit for being there for me, but it is what it is. So yeah, just a lot of my childhood wasn't bad, but it's part of my story. So I have to tell you, because there's just not a lot, because I didn't, like I said, I played sports with my friends. I had a lot of friends. Oh, my friend Dan. So yeah, let me tell you a little about him. God rest his soul. Yeah, I tattooed, I don't know if you could see it on my camera, but There's a DC right here. I did it for him. His name was Dan Cassidy. So me and him, the funny thing is when I first met him in school, and then I think he came over like once or twice to my house. We wound up getting a fist fight in my yard, my backyard. Like the third time he came over. Like I remember we got in an argument about something and I whooped his ass. Like, and he was bigger than me, but I beat him up. I was a tough little kid. Like I didn't take no crap. I mean, I might look smaller than him, but no, I beat up my bully, Dustin. I kicked his ass on the porch or the deck on my birthday because he liked bullying everybody, and I wound up beating the crap out of him because I just couldn't take it. Yeah, I got in a lot of fights when I was a kid, but I remember me and him got in this fight, and I told him, leave and get out of here and never come back. I don't want to see you again. And then I think it was like on a Friday, so I didn't see him all week, and I went to school Monday, and he came up to me on Monday, and he said, oh, Chris, I'm sorry, da-da-da, and me and him became best friends. Like, I was always at Dan's house. Like, I slept over every weekend. Like, I had my own bed in his room. Like, his house was the best. Like, I lived there. I remember his dad would joke with my mom, oh, I should charge your son rent. If me and Dan weren't together, there was something wrong. Like, me and Dan were always together. Like, we were always Dan was like the best friend I've ever had in my life. Like, I never had a friend like Dan. I miss him. Like, I even said to my kids, I'm like, I wonder how my life would be right now if me and Dan never stopped hanging out. Like, would have things been different? Would I went down the road I went? I mean, he got banned of drugs. He lost his mom when he was 7, and I met him after that. I think I met him when he was like 9. I think we were 9. His birthday's actually February 9th, and mine's February 19th. So we were 10 days apart. But yeah, I never met his mom because when I met him, his mom was already gone. But his dad was great. Like, Dan made my childhood really, having him. I'm glad I got to know him. For who he was. And I didn't know he was hurting because we were little, I could tell when we got in our teenage years, there was something wrong. Like, I could see it. He started getting more, more antisocial. He started not wanting to hang out as much all of a sudden, which I thought was odd because he always wanted to hang out. And then all of a sudden he was like, give me excuses not to come over. I remember I walked from Keyport. Now, this was like a 4-mile walk with my amp and my bass guitar that I just got all the way to his house because I wanted to play because he had a drum set because we were going to start a band. And I got there and he's just sitting on the couch. And he's like, Chris, because I tried calling, I couldn't get a hold of him. I don't feel like hanging out today. Maybe another time we'll jam out. Because he told me when I got my guitar and stuff to come over. And I just went and spent like $500 on or $600 on this bass guitar. So it was a Fender Peace Car. It was red. It was so sweet. Yeah, I sold it for pills like an idiot. That you'll hear about that. So I remember I walked to his house and I was so upset. Not the fact I even walked there and I had to walk all the way back home with this guitar and amp. The fact that he just didn't want to jam out, man. Like right there, I was like, my friendship with him is over. Like there's something wrong with him. Like, well, I didn't know because I was only 14 or 15. I didn't really do hard drugs and stuff yet. I was still smoking weed at the time. So yeah, that really messed me up. And then, I started using like right after that because I started hanging out with these other kids in Keyport. Justin and Ben and Eric, who God rest his soul, Eric Burke, he passed away from drugs. Actually, both Erics I know, both Eric Burks, they both actually passed away from drugs. I've lost a lot of people I know and friends to this disease of addiction. So I didn't want to be another statistic. I don't have to be. As long as I stay sober today, I don't have to be a statistic. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I really got about my childhood, like my teenage years, there's, I'll tell you about like when I started like messing around with ecstasy, and we'll get into, I'll go up to probably like when I was like 21, and then I'll save the adult part because that's a lot of, after when I turned 21 is when I really started getting to like opiates. I didn't really get into hard drug. I mean, well, yeah, I guess I did. I mean, ecstasy's a hard drug, and I did acid when I was a teenager too, But yeah, no, my childhood, like I said, I don't feel like it was that bad. It could have been a lot worse. So I thank God for what I had growing. Like I said, this channel, I want to grow it into something. Like I want to be something, and I feel like I have a gift and I have to learn how to use it. I can talk to people. I'm not scared to talk to people. I'm not scared to do this. Like, I want to do this. I'm enjoying this. Like, I'm having fun. I'm sitting here talking to my computer. So it's like I'm talking to somebody, but there's nobody there to post this for people to see it, and it's a little hard because I don't know. I guess some people are just natural at it. I feel like I can be natural at this because I just have to talk. Like, I'm good at talking. I can do that. It's just, you don't want to not have stuff to say, because you don't want to be boring people and they're just listening like, all right, so you have to kind of like go with it. Like you have to, I don't feel like I have to think of things to say. I'm just trying to be honest with people, And like I said, I want to put stuff out there, not just about recovery. Like I want to do stuff about the government. That's a big thing. I'm a big conspiracy person. There's stuff I want to talk about that. I watch a lot of stuff online. I want to talk about that stuff. I'm sorry. And if people don't like it, I'm sorry. But I want to talk about it because this is my channel. This is my world. This is Crazy Jay's world. And I want to talk about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Raiders. I want to talk about sports. I want to talk about the weather. I want to talk about the seasons. I want to talk about life. Eventually I want to hopefully be able to go live on YouTube so I can start talking to chat. I love when I'm like on YouTube and I watch somebody and you're like, yeah, chat, blah. Well, they have a lot of subscribers. I don't have them. I think I have like 43 on YouTube right now. Once I get 50, I can go live. I feel like once I want to grow this, and I need people's support to do that. Like, I can't just do it on my own. I can make the content. I got to learn how to edit better. I'm trying to hopefully, eventually, if I get this better, I can get somebody who knows how to edit, and maybe I can start getting help with this. Because this Riverside thing's great that I'm using. Check this out, for instance, ready? That's cool. Like, they have the little things, and I bought this thing to do, like, sound effects and stuff like that. So, I haven't used it yet, but my microphone hooks into it, let me see if I can show you guys. I think I did show you already, but here, I'll show you again anyway. Here, let's see if the cord. Yeah, it's this thing. So it has like gadgets on it, and I want to, because I want to play around too. Like, I want to have fun on here, I want this channel to be fun. I want people to come on here and like want to be on here and talk to me, like, especially if I go live, which I can't do. I have to have 50 subscribers to do that. Hopefully I'll get that. I think I'm at 43. Maybe I might even more, but once I get to 50, like, because, I bought these microphones to wear. So I want to do interviews. Like, I want to interview people. I love asking questions. So I want to ask people things about, like, what they like, about their life, And I've had people already say they want, like, I had somebody ask me yesterday about what I do a relationship, like what I talk about. Absolutely. I'll talk about relationships. I'll talk about my relationship. I don't have one right now. I'm hoping, down the road it'll happen. But yeah, I'm going to talk about my marriage. I would definitely talk about relationships. I like talking about things. Like, I like talking. Like, I wish I could have been on the radio. I would have loved to have been on the radio. I remember the reason I thought about doing this, I'm pretty sure I shared this with some guy in a meeting I was doing, told me I have a really good voice, like a radio voice. I don't know if that's what you think. I'd like some feedback about that. I like my voice when I hear it, actually. Like, it's stern, and there's this thing on here that you can, when I edit my videos, that it makes it more audio. What is the word? It makes it better. Like, my voice is more audio-ish better. Yeah, this Riverside thing is really cool. I was just checking out the prices, so I didn't know this. So actually, I can start going live. So I could live stream on my YouTube at the same time when I'm making my podcast. So actually, once I get enough people and I can go live, it's like $10 more a month, which is fine. I don't mind doing that because this thing is worth the money. It's actually really good. I can actually do live through this. I didn't know that. So I can do live through this and just do my YouTube right through here, which is cool. And then I can have all my chat up. I can invite people like this. I want to do that. I want to make this into something. Right now, it's, I guess, all over the place right now. I threw up a couple of videos, a couple of podcasts. This is the next one, and I want to like talk to people, like, because doing it by yourself it's a little tough because you don't have anything to bounce off anybody. Like, if I had someone, I guess if I was doing I like doing it by myself. I'm fine with doing it by myself, but I'm just saying if I had somebody to do it with, I could bounce stuff off them, like have a conversation with someone every time we do it. And then it's just different. I don't know. I watch like Joe Rogan. He does runs, but he has people on. He interviews people. Like, I want to do that because if I start interviewing people, I have somebody to talk to. Like, it's a different person all the time. Like, I like how he does that. Like, he has different people. I mean, he's obviously a bigger known person than me. I'm not known at all. I don't know if I ever will get known. I don't know if this will ever go anywhere. Hoping it does. Like, my symbol, man, I'm hoping people like want to actually rock it, like, and support me. Like, that symbol, man, I love it. This guy Cody at work, man, he got a shirt and he's so proud to wear it. And that makes me feel amazing that, like, he is supporting me like that, like, I'm just getting a lot more support than I thought I was going to get. I didn't think I was going to get support like this. I really thought people were going to think I'm stupid for doing this. I went out and spent money on this computer because I really want to do this, and I'm going to keep doing it, whether I fail or not. If I fail, I fail, but I feel like I can give something to it. So, that's a start to me. And, the next one will be about my teenage years, and I want to talk about other things too on here. I know, like, I'm going to talk. I'm just a talker. So, yeah, but, this has been fun, and I hope everybody who watches this enjoys it. And, give me some comments, give me some feedback, get me 50 subscribers so I can start going live, because I'm going to do the $10 more thing, and I want to go live. I want to start growing my channel. Like I said, I wanted to do YouTube for a long time, and you know what? I'm finally doing it, and I don't want to stop. I want to grow. I want to have 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. I'd love to get that YouTube plaque, but you need 100,000 subscribers. I mean, maybe I'll get there. We're just going to start small. Just get me 50 for now so I could go live, and then we'll see what happens. You know, I can make other content. Like, I don't want to just do podcasts. Like, I want to do podcasts, but I also want to make, like, content, too. You know, I want to do other stuff. So maybe I want to get creative. I'm an artist. I draw. I like art. I want to be creative on here, you know, so I want to, content creators is making content to entertain people. You know, like, you see a lot of crazy stuff there out online. You know, people doing some stuff to get viewers. So, I mean, it's all about the viewers, right? And subscribers. You know, it's like, that's how you get sponsors on here and everything. So I'd love to get a sponsorship, but I'm not there yet. I'm not even close. Like, eventually, I don't know how many, I have to look it all up. I don't know how many, like, subscribers you need and stuff to get, like, sponsorship. Because once you get sponsorship, you can make money. Like, I want to make money off this too. Like, I want to do this as, like, a second job. And then maybe one day I could just do this. You know, like, I love doing this. I'm having so much fun, and I look forward to doing it more. And, so, yeah, I'm going to end this episode, and, I'm going to end this episode now, and, we're going to keep it going, you know? I'm going to keep Crazy J's World alive. It's a live thing, and I look forward to, hopefully, maybe eventually people like, oh, you're Crazy J, like, I watch you, like, you're good, man, like, I can't wait for that, you know, like, I want to be something, and I know I am something. I want to be more than what I am, you know, like, I want to give, and I know, you know, the world is online now, and it's social media and everything, and that's a way to do it. And that's why I want to do this so bad, because I feel like I can get out there doing this, you know, and get known and help people, you know. Maybe I could get some cool person on my show to, like, interview, you know, somebody I don't know. Like, I want to interview people I don't know too. I don't want to just interview people I know. Like, I want to get people on here that I don't know, who are in recovery, who are looking to get active. Like, I love to make this something. So help me do this, please. Like, I can't do it myself. It takes, more than me. I can only do so much. So I want to say thank you to everybody who supports me and who is supporting me. And I love you all. And I want to end with the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. So I love you all. And I'm going to end this episode, and thank you for everybody who's helping me, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, so this is Crazy J, and I want to say peace and good night.